Now please welcome the return of the Knicks podcast. With you as panelists, the JEDI. And the second panelist, and the world's most famous is up. We are back. We are back in full force. Of course, we're showing our main man, Obi Toppin, the king of the dunk. Salute, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. Chef Dan, what is going on? How are you?
Salute to you, JEDI. I got a little too hyped off of Obi winning that slam dunk contest. I decided this week I was gonna go to the gym to work out. It's taking me a bit of time right now. I'm sore everywhere. I'm going to set this up, but I'm here with you. Salute to you, man. Salute to Marie Matthews in the chat joining us tonight, man. But salute to you, JEDI. How are you doing?
Doing well. Salute the gracious Marie Matthews and the main man, Hector, Project Nerd HQ in the building. Salute. Nick family, salute, Hector. I hope you're doing well, man. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing awesome. Let's get it. Second half, man. First of all, let's start it off with the festivities over the All-Star weekend. We seen my main man, the one and only JEDI, Obi-Wan, winning the slam dunk contest.
Yes, sir. Obadiah Toppin most definitely deserved that trophy. He said he was coming back for revenge last year, and I think he kind of just, out of all the dunkers there, he deservedly so won that trophy. It wasn't much of a debate. It seemed like all throughout the night, it started off really with that first dunk. I didn't think any other contestant had any dunk that topped the first dunk that Obi Toppin had. And if he did, I don't know. With Obi, we've seen it 2 years in a row now. We've all had this question with Obi and his dunk contest entrances, is that if he kind of swapped some of the orders, then maybe it would have had more impact. But all in all, he showed that he was the best dunker on that court, and no one really, no one had the hops to be up there with him.
Absolutely. That dunk, jumping over and going the ball behind his back, phenomenal dunk. Kenny Smith tried to poo-poo it, but all in all, that was a hard dunk, and he did on his first attempt. That was a real good dunk. That's the winning dunk, because let's face it, everyone else didn't execute their dunks in their first attempt. Jalen Green, he struggled as well. But all in all, everyone say it was a lackluster dunk contest, but you try to go out there and try to dunk in front of everyone to see and be perfect.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm not one to judge the dunk contest to say, it was whack. I'd say this one didn't have the hype as other ones, but all in all, it's a good dunk contest. Like, I'm there to watch guys do something that I physically can't do, that a large percentage of of people can't. Is literally a small percentage of people that can even jump that high and even get to touch that rim. So all in all, to me, man, it was still entertaining. Right.
And our guy, he got his revenge. He won his, no matter what guy people want to say or criticize it, he's a slam dunk champion. I mean, it means nothing. It's just a trophy. A couple years from now, we're not even going to remember who won that slam dunk contest. But all in all, something positive in this break for the New York Knickerbockers. They more than needed it in the month of February. Now we get back to the main topic, which is the New York Knicks. Salute to Obi Toppin winning that, making us proud there. And now on to the Knicks. We noticed a lot of news happen. Of course, Kemba Walker is going to be shut down for the remainder of the season. Likely, I think he's, he just at the end of his road, Chef Dan.
I don't say end of the road for Kemba. I think he can still. It's all about him. Man, it's funny. I don't want to say Kemba Walker is at the end of his road. He's not at the end of his road. He really isn't. He is still a serviceable NBA player. It's just based on what role does he see himself being now. Does he only want to be a starter? If he only wants to be a starter playing those load of minutes, he's been in the NBA long enough to know what that entails, and he has to know his body from within to know whether or not he can handle that. Now, does he want to be, a guy coming off the bench for a championship team where he's getting some sparing minutes? He has some, with those minutes, he has to be high impact, but then after that, he can rest. And because he's not playing so many minutes, he has that opportunity. It all depends on what role he has. But I don't say Kemba Walker is at the end of his road. I just think he's at the end of his road with the Knicks.
Okay. Because he did say that he actually went to the management to shut it down, which I don't know. We could take that with a grain of salt. We could take that with a grain of salt, Chef Dan, that he said he was going to, he was going to remove him, sit out the season.
Yeah, we could definitely take that with a grain of salt. We have to take it with a grain of salt because part of it is we know out there that Thibodeau didn't want Kemba Walker. So was it a group decision? We saw that Julius didn't put his best foot forward whenever he was playing with Kemba Walker. When RJ is in the lineup with Kemba Walker, RJ isn't providing the great things he usually does. It's only been a few moments here and there, and RJ's beginning to blossom more and more. It's at a point now where it's too many ball handlers, especially for a guy in Kemba who really he needs the ball in his hands in order for him to produce. And the way he needs to produce, the team isn't built that way to get the best out of both him and the rest of the squad.
Yes, with that said, now, no Kemba Walker, rotational spot is open. Also, we're going to hear in a moment from Tom Thibodeau. We had his press conference here. We'll play it so we can listen to it. Also mentioned Derrick Rose should be returning back, although I from what I heard of the press conference, he hasn't even gotten into contact yet. So it makes you like, ugh. So now it's talking about, now we're ushering more playing time and now the development of one and only Alec Burks at point guard.
I have nothing to say to that, man. I really don't, because it's frustrating. It's frustrating, but I'm smiling because I know who Thibodeau is. I know what we prioritize isn't what he prioritizes. And so he just has a funny way of doing things and a funny way of, so far it hasn't worked out for him in a way. I mean, he does have some good counting stats, but he hasn't been able to maintain a great job. He has won 2 Coach of the Year awards, but he hasn't been able to stay in a place really long enough to, ingratiate himself into the next generation. Like, this is what all this was about. Watching Tibbs right now, man, it's all about, can he ingratiate himself and can he help this next generation of Knicks players come up? And with you saying what you said about Alec Burks and what he said, we're gonna go to the clip. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, maybe Thibodeau is going hand in hand with Julius Randle in the Moses complexion. They're hand in hand in that in the Moses. Remember, Moses took the Israelites to out of Egypt, going on his way to promised land, but Moses never made it to the promised land. So I don't think Thibodeau takes franchises out of the wilderness into NBA legitimacy, but he never makes it to the promised land because he always gets removed and the team either excels or they fall apart. So, and I see that with Julius Randle here. So I think Thibodeau and Randle go hand in hand here. I think they're together in the hip, my opinion, and I don't think they're gonna go any. I think I think they're limited. I hate to say it. I think these two players. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be completely wrong. I would love to see them both in in the Eastern Conference Final first. Better let alone that. Let's say first round. Competitive Game 7 of the first round. Let's say that. Let's take baby steps, like we say on our watch along, one step at a time. And we'll love to see that first, and then we'll go from there. But it doesn't look like it. Coming into the action, the NBA action coming up. One thing positive coming off this break, we'll get RJ Barrett back, full strength, ready to go. Hopefully his ankle all healed up. Maybe a Derrick Rose. Maybe the second game against Philadelphia. I still think he sits out the next 2 games. Not ready yet. I just my opinion. I have no facts on that. That's just me. And I think he'll be back the second game against the Philadelphia 76ers. And we'll see. We'll see where we go with there. With that, that's a positive from the team going forward. They're only 2.5 games out of the play-in game with 25 plus games to go. Anything is possible. I'm not going to limit. I'm not going to put anything past it. This is the same team. Well, the same coaching style team that I saw. It's not the same exact team, but the same exact coach and the same, system that reeled off 10 games, almost 9 out of 10 last season in a tough situation. And we also saw them win, 5 out of the last 6 to close out the season. So anything is possible with a Tom Thibodeau coach team, and when maybe their backs against the wall, us against the world, all that mantra could be a motivation factor. They are professionals, but man, what we've seen so far, the first half of all these games, you end up being like Thomas. You got to see it to believe it.
I agree with that 100%. It's kind of tough to see this team, even making it to the play-in because they haven't shown any form of consistency so far this season. Like the one thing I could say was, regardless of, that run that we had last year, that team was consistent in their defensive effort and certain philosophies that they played on the floor with. And we were upset sometimes with, why they went with what they did. But when it started to work for them, it worked and it clicked. But watching this team right now, I have to ask you, what have you seen so far from this team that you think they have dedicated themselves to in this season? Like, what is the one thing, basketball wise, that is a philosophy or a principle that you have seen them try and be a foundation for this season?
It's a good question, because you could easily get the cop-out answer said not really nothing, but there's something to be said when you take these teams, that you play these teams and you get up by 20 plus points. They stay by the factor of they're gonna hit. When they get a 3-point shot, they're gonna take it, even if it's a high percentage, a good look shot or not. They trust in their shooters. Do you want to take that as a positive? It also could be a dagger, because you see when they get cold, they're putrid. They really committed to spreading the floor and trying to shoot the 3. Also, when the team is up by so many points, 21 points, we saw they were up by 20 against the Lakers. I know we all know the story. We've seen that we not to reopen wounds that are trying to heal here with this All-Star break. But yeah, Pudge Nights, poor game management by the head coach. Maybe that's a consistency. I think floor timing I could be a little much more improved. Maybe he might need a help from an assistant coach. Maybe in this All-Star break, hey, help me manage some of these guys' minutes. It's okay. That's why you rely on your coaching staff, your assistant. That's why they call assistant coaches. They're not just there to hold a clipboard and get you a Gatorade when you're thirsty. They're also there to give you information, and you're only successful as your assistants. And it isn't everything. Me personally, when I'm at work, if it's not up to my partner, my assistant, my apprentice, I'm not gonna get finished done my job. I rely on him to make me shine. Same here on this channel as a panelist, as yourself. With Austin, my son, and Gideon, and Michael, and so I rely on you guys to bring your A game as panelists to talk about sports, and that's what's going to make us successful. I think Coach Thibodeau needs to trust more of his staff, have them have more input. Maybe he needs someone to help him. Hey, manage time management. What's your guts? What do you see there? Listen to another voice. Say, you know what? This guy is hot right now, Coach. I think give him another 5 minutes. That type of deal. In the huddle. I don't know if that happens because you always see him going to the players. Maybe they're maybe something different. Because obviously what we have seen so far hasn't been working this season. I understand it. Granted, it might have worked for years past in Chicago, even granted to last season. But each year is a different story, it's a different canvas, is a different essence. And I think Chef Dan, he might just need to change it just a little bit. I'm not saying to go out of his comfort zone completely, but sometimes you have to get a little bit out of your comfort zone to be successful.
Yeah, but it all depends on what it depends on what's on the table. And when he said the last conference we heard him, when he said everything was on the table, what does everything on the table mean? Because I don't think it just means, like, at this point now, I don't think it just means, hey, now that KEMBA's shut down and we're getting RJ and Burks back, that now we have a bit of a bigger lineup. Let's just do the same thing and now we could lead to better results. Like, it's got to be more than that. So what is the everything on the table? And I feel like we have to hear from him in order to, to truly know what that everything is.
Okay. And Pudge Nice was saying the players love Johnny because he communicates. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's a communication barrier there. Like Dangerous was saying, every time the guys make a mistake, you see Thibodeau getting upset or whatever the case. Maybe that style has been rigided on some of these players, that it's a little bit off-putting, or just like, I can't get, you sometimes they're a leader of men. Sometimes you're looking for that gratification from, the dad figure. You want, oh man, I want dad's approval. In a nutshell, maybe some of the players want some positivity. Hey man, you didn't cut. Next time, man, get at it, man. Cut. Be aware of your something, a positive reinforcement. I'm not saying everyone needs a participation trophy, but maybe a positive reinforcement instead of being demeanorative and getting upset or on the sidelines. Players tend to see with a peripheral vision. They see the coach doing those gestures. They get embarrassed. Salute to Sergeant G-Man for life in the building. Salute.
Yeah, man. I agree to a certain extent. I think a coach can get demonstrative. It's just as long as you allow the player to play through the mistakes. And that's what it all comes right back to. Is he gonna sprinkle those minutes a whole lot more? It isn't about inserting more players into the rotation. It's about giving that second unit more playing time and even playing with some of these rotations. I saw a chart somewhere on Twitter, given out on Twitter by the Strickland. Salute to the Strickland. They're another good NBA content, Knicks content creation site. But they showed a chart where it's a lot of the minutes played for certain lineups, and with Thibodeau saying in this training camp press conference, this practice press conference that he had, he talks about the certain data that lineups are giving. I think that data is skewed based on the way the amount of minutes that certain lineups are playing. And that data shows right there that certain lineups, you're never going to get a good amount of data out of them because they're not playing enough minutes. Like, we haven't seen Julius and RJ played. Excuse me. We haven't seen
Toppin.
Julius and Toppin play a lot together. We haven't seen Julius and Emmanuel Quickly play a lot together. We haven't seen RJ and Emmanuel Quickly play a lot together. We haven't seen RJ and Obi Toppin play a lot together. Like, those certain lineups and those 3-man lineups, if you including those three, 3 out of those 4 players, it can get unique sometimes, and you can get certain different amounts of data out of them, but he's not giving them the playing time to get that amount of data.
Right. There's not any substance that you could scout or see what direction or what needs to be improved, because you don't have that much information, especially now that NBA teams, and all professional sports are using analytics with the data, and they don't have enough. So maybe that's another thing that we're talking about, because also we heard before the All-Star break there was a disconnect between front office and management, and as well as coaching. Worldwide West, he's playing pocket pool with Dolan, when he has in his one hand in his pocket, other one in his ear, all that nonsense, and blaming, according to the reports, Thibodeau is to be blamed. I think, and be honest with you, if you want to look at that, you get yourself a mirror and you set everyone in the front office, coaches, and all of them to look in the mirror. All of them, I think, are at fault at why the Knicks situation is where it is.
Yeah, I agree to some extent, but like I said, man, what I'll go back to is that data that's showing that there's not enough minutes being played with certain lineups. I think that really falls on the coach. There's no way the front office can influence in the middle of game what type of lineup the coach is going to put out there. It's up to the coach. And when he's seeing, like we've noted in doing these watch-alongs, when we see these other teams start to make these substitutions, you get a fresher guy, you get a different body, you get a different look in there. Thibodeau is still rolling with the same rotation. He's never making adjustments to another team's adjustment. The only time that the adjustment happens is by the time that they figured out what their adjustment is, after doing all the experimenting that they want to do against us, and then it's too late. Because the guys that he's run out there are too tired. They go in there, they go out of the game. He leaves it up to the bench to try and, face a lineup that's running hot. They can't do anything about it because they're cold. So now he goes right back to that start, and that's a habit of him. For him to immediately do certain things, like the game is close, Obi's doing nice things in the fourth quarter. You get a foul, you get a dead ball call, whatever. Obi, come out here to Randall. Right. Like, that's a habit.
Yeah, that's a frustrating habit, by the way. It's like, oh my goodness. Not only that, Chef, when you said the French, they change in fresh players all in all. Also, they get a lot of times teams get a whole kind of rotation. They play the starters with bench players, and and they get to see the whole Knicks as a whole, and also teams get a better scouting and look at, okay, this team has played this much minutes. I already see what second unit plays against some of the starters. Maybe I could blitz them. That's why I think a lot of times in the third quarter we get the third quarter doom, because I think coaches make those right adjustments in the second quarter, when they see sometimes Thibodeau leaves the starters a little too long against the second unit, and they see certain things that the second unit does well against the starting unit, push the pace more, make them make mistakes, and then they note that on charts, and then third quarter comes and boom, they hit the Knicks with a blitz, and then Thibodeau won't substitute until there's like 4 minutes left in the third quarter to finally bring this first sub in, let alone subbing in 3 to 4 guys, and then they're spent. Then you're going to go 3 minutes. Then you have, we always frustrated and saying, our second unit hasn't played since the second quarter, midway to the second quarter. So they've been sitting since midway to the second quarter, all of halftime, and then almost 3/4 of the third quarter to come in for a quarter of the fourth, of the third, tend to play maybe half of the fourth quarter until they make a mistake, and then they're gonna bring the starters back in around the 7-minute mark to try to close out a game when the game is tight. That's why they haven't really been pulling out those games like they used to last year, Chef Dan.
Yeah. And like last year, it was really teams didn't have the athletes to keep up with the way we were, doing it, because we had, we were trained tough. The guys here did different type of athletes than the guys this year. Guys last year, different type of athletes. Alfred Payton is a different type of athlete than Kemba Walker, and Reggie Bullock is a different type of athlete than Evan Fournier. But yeah, we definitely took advantage of that. Like, regardless who they subbed in, we were still okay. But now it's to a point, especially with, you're not ever really keeping the same roster from year to year. You got to get creative with your rotations.
Right, and that's a criticism we have. Tom, with Thibodeau, he wants players to change to his coaching style. We would like, we're not saying they have to do it, but we would love for Tom Thibodeau to change his coaching style to fit the talent that he has currently on the team. Hey, it might not be world beaters. They might not be top of the line class A talent, but please, can you change a little bit your coaching style, just a little, to accommodate your players that you have on your bench, on your roster? And then we don't see that though.
I'd love to see if that was one of the questions that the reporters had asked him today.
Well, we got his press conference. Let's hear from Coach Thibodeau. Let me first put a pause to the nice background music, and as we'll hear from Coach Thibodeau.
How are you?
So, how does it look with Derek being on the court again?
We got to let him get some practice. He was fine. We'll see where he is tomorrow.
So there's still a possibility.
There's a possibility, yeah, but we want to make sure he's ready to go.
I mean, when you've seen him, he's rusty, but does he look like that?
Yeah, like the thing is like his conditioning, obviously there's nothing that you can do that can replicate an NBA game. So he's taken on contact for the first time yesterday and today. So he's been running on the court, shooting, doing drills, that sort of thing, but no contact. So his body's got to get used to taking the contact on. So that's where we are right now.
But the last 2 days,
he did everything. So it's good.
How's RJ look to you?
Great. Same thing. Coming back, just the break. Everyone's trying to get their timing back, but overall, very good.
Obviously, the last 3 games entering the All-Star break, the fourth quarters were not great. When you have a Derrick Rose on the court and what does he do for you to make
Just
you a point?
Veteran leadership. I think, when you have leads like that, it's, it's control and manage the game. That's a big part. Your point guards, it's a big responsibility. So, and obviously, it was disappointing that we didn't close those games out, but we did a lot of good things to build those leads, and then you got to finish the game.
You
Okay.
took time to look at that, and RJ was saying yesterday that we did a lot of good things to get those leads. When you look back on that, is there 1 or 2 things, or is it something that you think?
I think the big thing is understanding. We got a lot of young guys. Is understanding how different the fourth quarter is. It's and that's a big part of it. So when you have a lead, you don't want to overthink, but you have to play. You have to play with a poise, but a toughness that goes along with that. So managing the game is a big part of that.
I know yesterday you hinted strongly, you like Alec and the numbers with him starting, but is it also, Derek has made that second unit really terrific. Do you want to see that, how Derek will look on that second unit again?
The answer is all of the above. Yeah, and you're right. The second unit played very well together, and so you look at everything, and the idea is to make sure that the team is functioning well. And so whatever groups are playing well, and, you know, Alec's been part of the starting group, part of the bench group,
What
and
a
he
joke.
provides veteran leadership as well. And there's things that he can do with his size that allows us to do more switching and that sort of thing. So there are some advantages that we get with the starting unit with that.
RJ, you said was looking good too?
Yeah, I want, you know, again, I want to see where he is tomorrow, you know, so he took on, we had a good practice today. He was very good in practice, so we'll see where he is tomorrow.
Practice?
I don't know if you were asked yesterday,
You talking
with
about
everything going on,
practice?
did you get to watch the slam dunk competition?
I did, it was great. It's great. I'm a Saturday night guy, so I like the 3-point contest, and, you know, I was happy for Obi. You know, I think it's good for him, it's good for our organization.
I mean, with Obi's situation, you know how it is on social media, everyone wants to see him play more because he's exciting, but.
He actually asked a real question.
I know you spent a lot of time these past few days trying to recalibrate. I mean, what do you see for Obi in this?
Yeah, just, and again, it's not like necessarily just what's best for Obi, it's what's best for the team. So I want him to continue to improve, do the things that he's done well, and build on that. So, you know, when the bench goes in, I thought that was one of our strengths at times when when we were intact, and he's a big part of that. You know, I think when we had Derek and Alec and Quick and Obi, that group functioned really well together. They give you a little bit of everything, and Obi's athleticism really stands out with that group.
Right. So, I mean, how does Derek's presence with Obi, how does Derek help Obi?
Just, I think, pushing the ball, he gets the ball up the floor quickly, and that also takes advantage of the way Obi can run. And then when we have the multiple ball handlers on the floor, the other thing that I think Obi does extremely well is he moves the ball to the backside. So if we reverse the ball, it's a very quick decision to get it to the backside, and oftentimes that the second pick and roll is something that you're getting a very high percentage shot off of.
To start off tomorrow against a Miami Heat team, just a challenge of that, you know, coming back and what it's going to take against a team like that?
Well, obviously, their record says how good they are. They're, you know, sitting on top of the conference, and very well balanced team, very strong on both sides of the ball, and they can break you down. And I think when you have a guy like Butler and you have a guy like Bam, and then Kyle Lowry, and then they've surrounded them with great shooting, and you can't overlook.
All right, enough of the flowers for the Miami Heat. Oh, interesting thoughts.
Word salad.
Word salad. Okay, I found it interesting. He's still saying veterans. He hasn't said one iota about want to take a look at some of these young guys that put in the work, and in practice, some of these young talented kids that we brought up, that we drafted this season, to see them coming along, see what their development are at this point of the season. I didn't hear that. I'm very disappointed. I didn't hear none of that. All I'm hearing, I heard the word too much veteran. He's going to rely over on Derrick Rose, and he's going to rely on Burks. And yeah, he said the same crap over and over again. Yes, Kelvin. To put it all in a nutshell, that's be honest with you, and that's not sugarcoated. It did seem like that. I did, like you said, word salad, same nonsense over and over. Yeah.
He said something interesting.
Okay, please elaborate.
When they asked about the fourth quarter collapses, he said response in collaboration with the veteran leadership, he said we have a lot of young guys, and they have to understand when playing in the fourth quarter, it's a different atmosphere. They have to play with the poison and aggression that maintains the lead and still controls the game.
Okay, but the guys that are squandering the lead is the starting veteran unit. It's dribble, 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 isolation, no handle, Mr. Randall, or Alec. I can't hit anything on the paint. I shooting 34%. Burks, you know,
No, but see, here's why we see the pattern, right?
correct.
But it's all about how you phrase the pattern in your head.
Okay,
There's different ways you could like it. That's why it's word salad. He's really good with his word salad, by the way. He knows how to arrange it to make it look nice. So now we could say, here's what we see is that these vets, they're running and gunning. They build the lead in the third. And then he makes certain substitutions near the end of the third. Some guys come in at the beginning of the fourth, right?
correct.
For our rotation. Then in the beginning of the fourth, the lead starts to get lost because the guys that he brought in are cold because they haven't played all the third.
Correct.
And then the vets come back in tired and they're gassed, so they can't do anything, right?
Yes.
That's what we see. That's what we tell ourselves in our head.
Right.
What he sees is the veteran starting unit builds the lead in the third. He makes certain substitutions, i.e., Burks and i.e., quickly to get the ball handlers used to the situation. They come in, right?
Yes.
Coming in the fourth, a guy like Obi, who necessarily doesn't need the ball in his hands to get hot. The rest of the guys on the court don't need the ball in their hands to get hot. So they should be able to maintain the lead. If they can't, along with them being more rested than the other bench because they haven't played the third, then I have to go back to the starting unit because those were the guys that built the lead in the first place. You understand? Like though, what we see and what he sees are two
Are
different
two different
things.
stories. Yes. 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 And I think that's, and it's hard to say which is correct, which is right, because
Because it's not like it's not a scripted play, so there's not a storyline to go by.
correct. Correct. And the thing is, it is a result driven business. And right now, the results of your thought and your pattern isn't giving you the reason, a leg to stand on. And that's why this is the crossroad that we are with the New York Knicks of 2021-22 season. Is that, with that being said, he's going to continue with it. He's going to continue rolling
Yeah.
his dice. He's going to continue putting it all there. He's going to the roulette table. He's going to bet it all on 22 black and let it roll. And if it's red
No,
comes up,
30 black. It's 30 black.
yeah, exactly.
Betting on
Yes.
30 black.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Correct. 30 black, and he's letting it roll. He doesn't want to go with, he don't want to go in number 9 red. He wants to go, he wants to go the other way. So, and that's how it is on the roulette table for him. And of course, unfortunately, it's a result driven oriented league. And it's wow. With that said, what do you expect here? Do you think that this team has enough for a play-in qualification? At least when I mean qualification, I mean, let me put it this way: by the last week of the NBA season, are they alive, or are we talking about Knicks 22-23 season coming up? Buy your tickets at the Garden.
Yeah, I think more likely that's what we're looking at. If based on what was said just now in that press conference, it seems like what if anything, he's gonna try and put more of his thumbprint on that bench unit during the fourth and really try and get them to do what he wants them to do instead of letting the game flow to them and
But
trying to you're not trying to dictate the flow of the game. You're just adjusting yourself to the flow of the game. That's really it. But yeah, we're gonna get off into that and all the rumors. That's what I look. That's what I think I'm looking more forward to. And
let me make one quick statement before we close out this the depressing thing of Thibodeau here. What I was about to say, what was my train of thought? Hold on, let me know. Hopefully, I didn't lose my train of thought before we move on. Was he the last week of the season? Is he going to be there? I think they might be flirting around with it. I think that they'll just definitely keep us there, and then they're just going to just the whole shoe is going to fall on the other foot. It's just not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be the story of the season. Yeah, they're gonna be just close enough, and then it's gonna fall.
Yeah.
And
It's
you know
just
what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Here's the two ways it might fall. One is them losing a game that they needed to win in order to stay in. Two is them winning the game that they needed to stay in, but it didn't matter because someone else won that they lost to earlier in the season. So they
yeah.
took their spot. And
You know,
that's what I think. I think that one is going to be the more likely scenario.
I think this is I think this meme here is going to tell us the whole story of the second half.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Yeah.
That's the Knicks right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. Well, but I'm telling you this myself as a fan, and as what I enjoy doing, the watch along play by play. I'm not leaving. I'm still here. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
abandon. I am not abandoning this team. I'm still here. I am still gonna be enthusiastic to call the games, to have the watch along, to not only just because of the team, also for the interaction of the wonderful chat that everybody gives us their time. So I'm invested. I am not. I'm not one of those rats that could desert the team or not come on or quit my stream because the Knicks are not winning. You know,
I'm letting y'all know right now. I'm already watching the Ty Washington scouting videos. I'm watching the Ty Washington scouting videos because that's who we're projected to pick. Ty Washington out of Kentucky. He's a nice little point guard. I think he might do the job. Who knows? But then again, there's a whole lot of rumors going on with the Knicks.
a lot of rumors. Which one would you like to start first? Would you want to go with the the big prize, the I Dream of Genie, the Jedi mind,
Um.
the Jedi mind trick?
Yeah. You know what? Let's address that one.
Stop it! I saw you jump. I never would jump off the Knicks ship. I got so many scars and that I can't fit. I'm like so many Knicks scars. You kidding me? From the Charles Smith Memorial to the finger roll to the John Starks 2 for 23. Jesus Christ! I could sit here and just tell you all the different
Oh no,
scars and battles.
Let's not
The '92
relive those.
missing all the free throws from Xavier McDaniel, Kiki Vandeweghe in that playoff series. Oh God.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's it's like showing my battle scars.
Damn.
Yeah. So you feel it, but you know what? That 69 doesn't, because you've seen the two titles. I haven't seen who got.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Who got?
This man cried 69, but you saw the championships. Got it.
Yeah, you greedy. You're greedy.
Got it.
You're greedy, John. You're a greedy dummy. You saw. Hey, he saw the Knicks win that year. He saw the Jets win that year, and he saw the Mets. Come on, you had enough. You had enough. You had a buffet. You had a buffet.
You had a buffet. You had a buffet. Shoot. That's why not for nothing I don't complain right now for the Giants losing the way they are. I think they're finally gonna start winning now because Tom Brady's finally retired. If anything, I think on one of those Super Bowls, the Maras, like the Maras of the Tishes, went to the football gods and said, please, even if my team sucks for as long as this man is here, I want to beat this team. And I think it was the perfect team, the perfect Patriots team.
I got stomped out. We stomped you out. All right, so let's get with the let's going along. Let's move along to the rumors. Of course, a lot of rumors are gonna get circulated from here to Kingdom Come. Um, where would you like to start?
Um.
I'll put some music back on.
Uh. We've already addressed the Jalen Brunson rumor. You want to address the Donovan Mitchell rumor?
I don't know that one. To be honest with you, so I don't have.
I
to
mean,
suffer.
it's not that. It's just over the last couple of weeks. It's just been news. You and me talked about it. It's not anything new. It's just what's been occurring over the last couple of weeks that there's a possibility that him and the Jazz could be looking for a split because he just doesn't want to be there, and they think that the fit with him and Gobert isn't gonna work anymore. And what is it? He's not like he's loved by the community, but for what he stands for, isn't loved by the community. And if anything, they project that his contract will be easier to move than Gobert's.
Right, and also he is a ravid, passionate New York Met fan. Everywhere he goes, the young man wears Mets paraphernalia on the road. His father works for the organization as well. A lot of ties to the city of New York, and doesn't mean not all the time doesn't mean that he wants to play here, but but he does love wearing orange and blue outside of the Utah Jazz, but it's for the New York Mets though, so I can see that there. But there's so many rumors, and my God, the big one, the one that I've been on my soapbox since last March. For those of you that know me, that knows me from the stream, that see me on different platforms, Knicks Real Talk, and For the Love of the Game, talking and having conversations on those as well. I've been saying since it's gonna be a year now, full year. I've been around that the Knicks will, and I said you could guarantee it. You write it there. We'll be getting Zion Williamson. I had a conversation. I'm not gonna give my sources. Here in Orlando, that they were gonna move Randall. They didn't say Zion, but but I said, you know what, it makes sense. I personally said Zion Williamson and Cam Reddish were gonna be a Knick, and I said it loud and clear. I said it on the air, and then receipts are there. I'm just waiting for it. Once it comes to fruition, I'm gonna have the clip. I'm gonna bring receipts. Been saying it for a year, and I just kept quiet. I never brought it home and said, "See, I told you guys." I'm not taking a victory lap neither, because it hasn't happened. But now rumors are saying that David Griffin is at odds with Zion Williamson. They're not seeing eye to eye. Can you elaborate more of the score from courtesy of the score this afternoon?
Yeah, and I believe Hoops Hype also went more into detail with it as well. But it's just that Zion didn't trust the medical evaluation he got from the Pelicans his first year with his knee, or was it the second year? And that with the because of that evaluation, he's been rehabbing away from the team, and that he hasn't really been in contact that much with the team. The contact is really cut off, and that's why CJ McCollum could go on TNT and say the things that he was saying about how he didn't talk with Zion and things of that nature. But you do have RJ and Cam Reddish over here, and then with those rumors being surfaced, it kind of and those three being college teammates, you see the connection there and how that happens. We saw that when the franchise believes in a certain player, they start to move certain things for that player. With the Minnesota Timberwolves, we saw that they believe in Karl Anthony Towns to a point that he said that he wanted a guy in D'Angelo Russell that he was comfortable playing with. I think he played with him before when they were coming up younger. I don't remember if they were college teammates, but I know that he wanted to play with D'Angelo Russell, and they moved heaven and earth to get D'Angelo Russell. Kawhi wanted to play with Paul George. The Clippers move heaven and earth to play with Paul George. Like if the Knicks have enough assets to make that trade, which they do, regardless of what the contract Zion is right now, or if the Pelicans decide to do a signing trade for that magnitude of a contract, the Knicks have the assets for it.
Right.
But all in all,
Right.
I think it's gonna be a race for those two, between Donovan Mitchell and Zion Williamson. I think a lot of teams are gonna be on the bidding table. They're gonna allow other teams. I think the Pelicans, what they don't want is that same feeling of with Anthony Davis. So instead of just letting the Knicks have him, they will probably let other teams get in on that race, see what they can offer, which is why Miami, just before the trade deadline ended, they were doing a whole lot of cap trickery to remove certain protections on certain picks and make that available for this year to trade.
Right, and that's why I wanted to ask you: is there any possibility, we have to look at the cap, that they could pull off both? I don't see it, Mitchell or Zion along with RJ. I don't know if that could possibly fit.
I don't think that could happen unless you're getting a third team involved. And even then, with that third team, it looked like you probably have to remove certain players in order to couple it together. It's really, you only have to make a choice of one or the other. Who do you want? And from there, you're pushing together certain assets. And not for nothing, these contracts that we have right now look bad. But as soon as this year ends, and as soon as the league year ends, all these contracts that we signed that look bad, they're phenomenal now because they're expiring contracts and they're veterans that you could move potentially, to a underperforming team, make them look good, and that team could move them for a pick. So there's a whole lot of cap wizardry that can happen. But I think between Donovan Mitchell and Zion, also with knowing that RJ is extension eligible, knowing that Julius's extension is going to kick in, and that may count towards the cap a little until the trade happens or whatnot. You do have to, just watch out, and we're going to have to pay more attention to what the cap is, what the cap table is providing us.
Right, and remember, we're on the free. We're end up getting, if I'm not mistaken, $11 million this cap, because we're losing $6 million of Joakim Noah's contract and $5 million of Josh Gibson. Remember, that contract is a first year guaranteed, second year is non-guaranteed contract. So I can see that there. I don't see them picking that option for $5 million on Gibson. So I'm seeing $11 million right there. That probably goes towards maybe if they want to extend Mitch or a lot of other situations. Speaking of Mitchell Robinson, salute to Johnny Davis and salute to you. Yes, Chef.
It's actually, we don't know how much more, but it's going to be more than 11 plus. What you forgot to counter in is that this year the cap will rise.
Right. But I'm just talking about the numbers that I know right now. I don't know the whole entire picture. I know 11, but it's off the hat. Right.
It's going to be more than 11, but it's around 11 right now. But we do know that the league is going to rake in, after the numbers show, we'll find out what the cap is extended to, and that'll be an additional bonus right there.
Right. And speaking of Mitchell Robinson, prayers go out to his dad. His dad is found the missing person report. Mitchell Robinson's father was missing. Still no word of his disappearance. Hopefully that some positive news, something positive comes out. Maybe he, in the hospital, sick, broken leg, whatever the case is. Hope for the best. And he's safe and found safe. Maybe he found a girlfriend and just decided, hopefully we don't find any negative news for that young man.
Forward. Prayers out to Mitchell Robinson's father.
Right. With that said, so any other news and notes that we want to see about trades and speculation? We tell us about one of our stash players in the EuroLeague.
Rokas Jokubaitis. His team just recently won the Euro Cup, and he was a key integral part of that run, especially in the finals game. His coach even let him play down the stretch, and I think he had a couple of deciding baskets for his team Barcelona to win the cup, and he's also nominated for a Rising Star award in the Euro League due to his performance. So the Knicks so far, they've drafted a really good player. They they said that if he wasn't drafted last year and he was to reclass into this draft this year, he could have potentially been a top pick. One of those guys that, Oklahoma out of nowhere would have traded up for.
It'll be interesting. Let's see. Interesting if the Knicks will. It looks like, to me personally, I think he'll be here for Summer League, second year. I think he'll be here for Summer League. He'll probably be here. Guys, if he does arrive to New York, let's say the beginning of April, doesn't mean he's similar to Valdoza. It doesn't mean he's going to be a Luka Valdoza case. We don't go up and raw that we need to play Jokovitis, because he's not. He's just going to be here to start working with the team and getting ready and acclimated for when Summer League comes, and get ready. He will be on the court for the Summer League team, and then he's going to have a good opportunity to stay for training camp and see if he makes the club. Turn that non-guaranteed contract as a draft pick, sign him. I think he's get him for $2.2 million or whatever the case is, that or $1.8 million dollars. That's what for his status of draft will be. So that's a steal. If he comes in here and he plays, that's a phenomenal steal. Young point guard, has size. I think he was a 6'5" point guard. In size they need it, and we'll hopefully we got something there in Jokic. Yakovitis coming back from the Euro League. Let's hope. Let's only hope, because that's another smart move by the organization. And phenomenal move by trading back. Not only that, you got McBride, then you got Yakovitis, then they gave me Jericho Sims. So guys that are for us, they're a little raw. We know they're raw, guys. We know they're raw, but we also see where they have a lot. They have an upside. So.
Calvin, you said that he's watching Tibbs crap. He's not going to want to come here. If there's one thing I'm going to let you know right now, his coach is worse than Tibbs. He is spitting and screaming in this kid's face during the run to the finals, letting him have it on the bench and then tossing him back in the game. So he's not, he's reaming him out, but at least he's tossing him back in the game. But he's got a coach worse than Tibbs, because Tibbs may not say anything to you, but that guy, he was cursing Rokas out.
Interesting. So he has a tough skin.
Yeah.
The kid has a tough skin. No, if Coach Thibodeau's still here next year, well, he's already going to be used to that tough love, earning the living, his time on the court and going forward there. With that said, Chef Dan, any other news and notes, intricates that we want to look forward to, that we'll see from this team, or anything come across while we were away before we get tomorrow night? Guys, don't forget, the Knicks play the Miami Heat at the world's most famous arena, and we'll have the watch along and play-by-play here live, of course, with Chef Dan and myself. Will be interesting to see, going forward. The reception. My thing is, what will be the reception tomorrow when the introductions are announced, and when Coach Thibodeau was announced as the head coach? Would he get booed? Would he get cheered? It'll be interesting.
It's at the Garden after All-Star break. Man, I wish this break could have been extended, man. I could have done one more day without Knicks basketball, but at the same time, we here.
Yo, New York, we're here.
We here? It's not we here. It's we here.
We're here.
We here. But all in all, I am glad to have Knicks basketball back. I'm glad to hopefully see RJ back on the court. Last thing I want to say is find some minutes for Deuce McBride. Man, just can't keep dropping triple doubles in the G League. Like, he's not Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, Yeah, it's not cute. Get the kids some playing time in the
Just get the kids some playing
get
time.
some playing time. Can you find 17 minutes? I knew you could find 17 minutes. We know what Alec Burks is. We know already. We know already. We know that, and I'm pretty sure NBA teams know as well. And everyone has it. There's a scouting report on Alec Burks already. We already know where he is. The ceiling is high. He's not, that's not, let's hold off on it. I want to see where McBride. Let's see what is the enigma that is Deuce McBride. Let's see that. Give him a canvas. Let him see what he's going to draw for us. What is he going to whip up? We want to see that. We want to see him with a full complementary of players. I don't want to see him out there with no centers, playing against a team like the Raptors, who are 6'9" players out there. You're putting the kid into a recipe of failure, and then you're gonna.
But see, look, here's the crazy part, right? If we do face the Raptors again, I want to see if he has, Tibbs is smart enough to say, hey, I want to see what Cam Reddish does in this lineup. Yeah. I want to see overall, it's more than just, seeing Deuce McBride. Let's be more creative with the lineups and the minutes distribution. That's all I want to see at the end of the day. At the end of the day, just give me more creative lineups, more creative minutes distribution, more creative than what you've done so far, because every team knows your formula by now, dog. Like, everyone knows it. It's like a Kool-Aid recipe. Like, it's just throwing water, Kool-Aid, dust, and sugar. You ain't adding anything extra.
Yeah, pretty much that. That's so true, Chef. That is so true. You're not adding anything extra, and we want to see the team grow. We want to be at least entertained for the rest of this 20 plus 5 games left. We want to be entertained. We want to see development. Even if we come off on the short, of course we'll be upset and we're disappointed doing the watch-alongs and we come up short. But if the kids are playing and they're playing well and you see growth, you saw positive things out of RJ. He continues to develop, becoming a 3-level scorer. You've seen, McBride with averaging 7 assists a game, and it just 4-1, and then we'll go, okay, they didn't have enough talent to play this. Okay, fine, but we've seen growth there. We've seen them training in the right direction. I think at the moment the Sting will still be agitated and irate, but then when you look at the bigger picture, you know what? They competed. They competed. They gave us entertaining games, but we know that they're not ready yet. And I know we might not say it at the moment, but when we are guaranteed sometime in July or June, when we come once a week to do just a quick Knicks talk, I think we'll say, you know what? Thinking about the way they played, they did really well. They, all in all, they learn it. So, we shall see, Chef Dan.
I reserve my right for judgment.
Yeah, you have all right to do that. You have all right to do that. I wouldn't blame you, because it's been a long time. And you have the right. That's the problem with us Knicks. We have that PTSD, thinking that what could go wrong will go wrong. Sometimes, remember, guys, for the New York Knicks, and I know it's been a long time. Kelvin could tell you, he's been around. He's been watching since '72. It cannot rain every day, guys. The sun has to come up once.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Exactly. But the sun will come up for the Knicks. There'll be some positive. I know it raining is right now the Knicks seem like they're having Seattle weather. Always raining, always glooming, always if it does stop raining, it's still cloudy. It's still that gray skies. So all in all, that's the Knicks out Supersonics. I mean,
Supersonic.
Yeah, so let's just hope. We know that last year was a trending positive. I'm trying to get a positive end of the season. The positive season is that we're saying we know what we drafted well. And no matter what the NBA thinks of our players, I still think the team has talent. I think they have young core talent. TOPPIN quickly McBride, RJ, Reddish, Sims, even Mitchell Robinson if he resigns with the Knicks. There's young talent. Even Julius Randle's only 27, just turned 27 years old this season. He's still young. I know he's stubborn. We know he's a stubborn mule. Doesn't also he goes, like I said in the beginning of the program, he goes hand in hand on the hip with Coach Thibodeau. They both stubborn players, and they just want to do it one way only. What they know, what they're comfortable. They'd rather lose in what they're and doing things that they comfortably know how to do than trying to do something that they're not used to doing to try to win. And that's them in a nutshell.
Yep.
That's them in a nutshell. I wish they'd change, but hey,
you are who you are at the end of the day.
It's rare. It's a rare breed. Can there be change? Absolutely. We saw Tom Coughlin.
With Julius can change. I don't know if Tibbs can.
Hey, we saw it with Tom Coughlin, and he was an elderly man, military background, that straight is straight, and he changed. And look what he got, 2 world championships with the New York Giants. He changed. It's a two-way street. He's got to put the effort in it. We shall see. And Randle as well. I forget sometimes that Randle's young. Yeah, Randle's only 27 years old. Just turned 27 this season. Just turned in I think it was in November, December, if I'm not mistaken. Just turned 27 years old. Extremely young. He still has 3 years before he reaches his 30. And it's still a lot to grow there. Although, personally, I think the ship that sailed for him to be in New York. I think he's, his time. I personally think his time has come to an end. I think he's better off, moving forward to another location and just re-up and start. We already saw that the pressures and the expectation that New York brings isn't completely for Julius Randle's makeup. That's just
maybe a little too much for him.
Yeah, it might be just a little too much. Doesn't mean he's not a good player, but I think his game, or what comes more than just his game, just doesn't fit New York. I think just was too. It's just too much. I think he needs. I think he'll excel in another small market team. I think he didn't get enough time to really showcase his talent in New Orleans. So I think he needs to return to New Orleans and take over that town with Gumbo and where the expectation level isn't that high, Chef Dan. And we shall see with that there going forward. And we'll see.
Yeah, most definitely. Sorry, my internet froze up a little.
No problem. We're going to wrap up a little because we have to come back tomorrow. We don't want to spend too much on the hour because we'll be on tomorrow for another 2 hours and a half of your time. We just wanted to, say, hey, we're previewing the Knicks and we miss seeing you guys. Let's be honest. No sugarcoating, no BS. We miss seeing you guys in the chat. Kelvin, Johnny Davis, Marie, everyone, Pudge Nice. We appreciate you guys. We miss seeing Hector, Project Nerd. It's good to see you, Hector, always. The Sarge in the building as well, and Gideon. We took a couple of days off, just to recharge and just disconnect a little bit with the basketball. Though we kept talking behind the scenes, calling each other, watching the slam dunk contest, the 3-point contest, listening for news and notes, but. We just say, we want to see the guys. We won't be able to do too much talking when we on the play-by-play. We're just calling the plays. And so in focus on it, we just wanted to come on and just a quick podcast is just see you guys there. Russ from the Wife of Crime podcast is working. He was going to join us today, but he's running late. He was out working, but Russ, always in spirit, was agreed to, he was going to come on, but he's working. He's got to make that money. So it is, he's got to turn on those, keep the electricity, the lights on in his home. So he has to work. So, but he's always with us in spirit. So we always appreciate him. And he says here, Kelvin, have either of you guys worked on a job where you are scared to make a mistake? That's what happens. Yeah. As I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. I'm an electrician. So, yeah, when I'm working on live electric, I am scared to make a mistake because then, either I blow the transformer and the whole neighborhood goes bad, or I'm gonna have my hair standing up. So one of the other two. So yeah, so I know exactly. But just scared to play freely. Yeah, sometimes you gotta block all that noise and just work, Sometimes I put on a headset and just listen to some music. And when I'm not working with live stuff, I just put on some music and just zone out and do my job and go to the tunes. I agree. Some of these players got to tune out and just go and do their job and just let their natural talents just take over. They're talented. They all are talented. They have a great talent. They're a reason why they're in that league. Just trust your ability and trust what you've been put the work in, and I think they'll have success.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
And one of those is worse than the other. Agree. So with that said, guys, I want to thank each and every one this evening. We're gonna make it short. Chef Dan, any final thoughts before we say goodnight and be ready for tomorrow?
Nah, I'm ready for tomorrow. Let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks. Let's get this victory. And we'll put the intro so we can get pumped up. So when the guys come out tomorrow in the starting lineup, we'll get pumped. So you guys have a good night. We'll talk to you tomorrow, guys.